This is the Daily Drop
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
with Addy and Shrimsy. From Daddy and Addy talking geopolitics, science, and anything and everything under the sun. Every weekday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And now, here's your hosts, Shrimsy and Addy.
What is up, people? Addy Adakin Skywalker, the chosen one of YouTube in the building. Please let me know you guys are hearing me okay. Got a new mic set up, as you can see. I'm pretty excited for that. My co-host, Mr. Shrimpsu, will be joining us very shortly. Let me just move this. Yeah, I'm looking you guys in the eyes a little more. My account was... I don't know what the word is. It was on hiatus. I got a strike a week before last for a video I posted of a child pornographer attempting suicide in Okinawa, Japan. He failed, and several people got this video on their Snapchat in Okinawa, Japan. One of my friends who lives there in Japan sent it to me, thought it would be of interest to me. He was right, and I shared it on my YouTube channel. Okay, and we're back. Okay, and we're back. Not sure what's going on there, but maybe I'm already being watched. My first day back on the YouTube channel, but as I was saying, my account has been reinstated. I am allowed to upload videos now again. I'm allowed to post on the community section of my channel once more as well, so it does feel good for that. In the meanwhile, I did make a backup channel, Adakin Skywalker, and people can go and sub to that if they so desire. But if you had to choose, I would implore you to go ahead and check out my brand new YouTube channel, which they have made me a Rhodium account over there. Okay. The Zionists are letting us broadcast now, I guess. Crazy video I posted earlier today on my channels. An Australian pregnant woman ultrasound. And Mr. Shrimp Stew is with us. Let me just finish my thought here, Shrimp. I was just sharing the video I posted on my channel earlier today of an Australian pregnant woman getting arrested. Her computers were seized. or weren't. Okay, we are having some difficulties here, technically speaking, with the internet. I don't know what's going on because I have very fast internet. Cancel. Okay, and we're back. Shrimp, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. I have no idea what's going on, man. Someone
I
my
think it,
internet.
I think it's the server.
Yeah, let me close all these other apps I got going on, see if that helps. I have very fast internet, generally speaking, so I don't know what that's about. But as I was saying,
Yo, this thing sucks.
okay, and I'm back here. YouTube lighten up. Thanks for checking in here, folks. Let me get Shrimp back in here. Don't know what's going on. Might have been my internet. It might have been StreamYard's server. I want to say it was mine. It was just jumping all over the place there for a second. I was at 80 megabytes, then I was at 100 megabits, at 200 megabits. Sounding for you guys? God damn it, dude. I'm losing patience. Shrimp is not buffering. I don't know where he's at now. Freedom of speech is dead. Okay. As I was saying, in Australia, woman arrested for Facebook post. Warrant served to her. Computers were confiscated. Why this is, I don't know. It seems like Australia has really descended into a Stasi-esque, Nazi-esque state over there. So rip to my Australians. Shrimp is having trouble connecting now. That is weird. I'm now just fine with my connection. I'm at 220 megabits per second. Go ahead and give it another shot here, Shrimp. We'll see what happens. But just some stuff I wanted to cover. I will cover some of this blood sacrifice stuff. Actually, let's go right off the bat with that. Just saw this video. I'm actually going to upload it to my channel, well, all my channels, as soon as I'm done broadcasting here. A child trafficking skit, comedy skit. It looks like a SNL skit that was produced a couple years ago now. Quite disturbing skit where they use children in cages with Will Ferrell, the actor, comedian, and Hollywood staple. Will Ferrell was the mainstay in that particular skit. I will again upload that to my channels. Will Ferrell is was back. The mainstay in that particular skit. I will again upload that. I can hear myself. That's trippy. How are you doing, Shrimp? A long time no chat, man. You'll have to excuse me for me missing out on our chats earlier this week. I explained that to you already, so hopefully that's an anomaly in our broadcasting, because I know people do like to see us broadcast. We are in 1080p now over on StreamYard. I was just telling the folks about this comedy skit with Will Ferrell where they basically joke about child trafficking. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I'm going to post it on my channels. Just another, looks like sign of them hiding in plain sight, these child trafficking in Hollywood in particular. You also got Tom Hanks creating some sort of bunker house or fallout shelter, a redoubt in Greece.
And wait, did you say Tom Hanks?
Yeah, he and his wife just recently got Greek citizenship, and I don't know if they moved out there or not, but they have a house out there. People are saying it's like a bunker with underground tunnels and stuff. I haven't researched much of it, but I do know that he is now a citizen of Greece along with his wife, which is pretty crazy. Definitely interesting timing, to say the least.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
starting off on some Hollywood child trafficking.
Greece is like the epicenter of Antifa too. That's where like most.
Is it really?
I mean it's not where it started, but if you Google like Greece and Antifa, Antifa has some wild battles in Greece, like Molotov cocktail throwing at police, like more so than here so far. Antifa is babies in America compared to Greece.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, they're way more wild than Greece.
Those Greeks, man. Yeah, also in kind of big world leader news, the Russian opposition leader was poisoned on a flight. I don't know if you saw this. Well, it wasn't on the flight exactly.
Yeah, it was in an airport, and they think while he was drinking tea, maybe.
Yeah, and apparently Merkel, the German chancellor, said that they have proof now that they have produced in one of their military biolabs that in fact he was poisoned, and that they can actually prove that.
Sorry.
You're good, dude. So yeah, it's interesting stuff over on Russia poisoning front. You know, Putin over there trying to keep a firm grasp on power. And another dictator in the news, Kim Jong-un, apparently is in a coma with his sister at the helm, and they have a body double who has been being used for in his place, Kim Jong-un's place.
Yeah, I'm not so sure like how realistic that is though, Because we just heard we heard that he was in a coma or dead like 2 months ago. Also, a few days ago, they were saying his sister was dead.
I didn't
don't
hear
know.
that.
It's hard to get accurate information out of North Korea.
Yeah, it really is. I got that from actually Major Jeffrey Prather, who is a former intelligence guy with the U.S. Army. He runs a show called Prather Point on YouTube. Speaking of Mr. Prather, he actually lost his radio show. He had a radio show, I think he's down in Arizona on public radio, and they kind of without a warning just took it from him. I believe it was because he was criticizing BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, that he got his show removed. But he still has his YouTube channel that he's running, and I've actually been in touch with Jeffrey Prather, Major Prather, and we should be chatting sometime next week, hopefully. But yeah, so I did get that info from him, and I do think he's pretty reliable source. I don't know where he necessarily got that from, but
what do you think of Black Lives Matter? Are you a supporter or are you against Black Lives Matter? Alexa, turn on all lights.
I like that. That was cool. I am not a supporter of the political group that is BLM. I am all for equality of treatment under the law and equality of opportunity in this nation. I am not for equality of outcome, forced equality of outcome, because equality of outcome will not ever exist, and it won't exist. And trying to get it to exist is communism, in effect. And the end result of that attempt is just a very small group of people with very pretty much absolute control over the rest of the population, like you see in communist China with the CCP or North Korea. But as far as BLM, I do think it has been hijacked by a special interest group, whether that's the Zionists, the globalists, the DNC, all three to varying degrees, perhaps. I've heard all of these groups being mentioned as possible hijackers of the BLM movement. I just don't. I mean, people are emotional. They want to make a difference, but they seem to be throwing their money away towards groups or that say they're for Black Lives equality. But at the end of the day, who are you really giving your money to? I don't think you really know that. And there's this company, True Blue, that I guess is getting a lot of the money, and they funnel their money directly to the DNC. So I do think it has turned into a bit of a racket. But you kind of see this with every movement. At some point, it gets co-opted by various people.
What do you think of the Proud Boys?
I don't know too much about them.
I mean, all those groups are about the same. What is the other one? The Patriot Prayer Group or something?
Yeah, I mean,
they're all.
I got this fiery message from one of my friends today, a female friend. It was actually yesterday, but I just responded today, and she was very upset that I was voting for Trump. But I think people do this thing where they project morality or values on people based solely on who they're going to vote for, you know? So I'm voting for Trump, henceforth that makes me a jerk, that makes me sexist, that makes me racist, xenophobic, whatever you may project onto Trump. That's what people project onto as voters. But people don't vote for the same candidate for the same exact reasons. I may vote for Trump for a different reason that you are voting for him, Shrimp. I know, even though I know you said you're not voting.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to vote because I know that Biden's going to win New York State. Like, that's obvious. But who would I support? I think Trump would probably be the better president. So I guess Biden sucks.
Yeah.
He has like dementia and stuff, and he was just the vice president. He didn't solve any Black Lives Matter issues or any police issues when him and Obama were in charge. They
He's
didn't.
black man, or at least half black.
Yeah, they didn't do anything for black rights or any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Same with Eric Holder, who is at least part black as well. He looks kind of like maybe Indianish too, or part white. Who is the attorney general under Obama? Also didn't do anything to change the judicial system, to change mass incarceration, to change the police state.
I mean, do you think Biden's going to he's not going to defund the police? He already said he wouldn't. Is he going to bring change to the police force? Trump will not. That's obvious. Trump will not bring any change to the police. But will Biden?
I mean, I saw a quote from him today. He said, like, something to the effect of rich people's lives are not going to change. Nothing will fundamentally change. I actually texted it to my aunt. Nothing would fundamentally change, end quote.
Oh, if he was president?
That's what he said. I think he was talking specifically in the context of rich people keeping their money or taxes in as a more specific point. But I don't know, man. It just seems like both sides are a racket, and maybe I am making a mistake voting for Trump, but it's like, how do I trust anything? Like, that's the point I'm at now. Like, how do I trust you, Shrimp? How do I trust George Webb, Paul Cottrell? How do I know any of these people are telling the truth, let alone the mainstream media? Maybe that sounds a little too paranoid, but it's like what Major Prather said earlier. Korea. It's like, how do I know he doesn't have an agenda that he's trying to twist? You know.
I always say I could be wrong about COVID. A lot of it's my opinion when I talk about coronavirus.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, have you changed your thoughts on BLM, Proud Boys, this Patriot group?
Since coronavirus started, my entire political beliefs have changed. Not 100%, but pretty drastically.
Yeah.
Before COVID started and like everybody was starting to run and everything, I kind of liked Bernie Sanders a lot. But then Bernie Sanders kind of like just like gave up super easy and like bowed to the establishment and dropped out and bowed to Biden. And it seemed like he was way more popular than Biden. So they just kind of like, the Democrats kind of just like stabbed all of the Bernie Sanders supporters in the back. I don't know. I would have like Andrew Yang. I don't know. Maybe a libertarian, like Rand Paul or something. But they'll never have a chance. It's always like there's always like two people you can choose from, and they're always lame.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pigeonhole myself in a political philosophy, it would be libertarianism, which the candidate is Jo Jorgensen, her name is. It's a white woman, I believe. I don't know where she's from, but I don't know. I would love like live in a country where that it's possible for a third or fourth party to win.
But yeah, maybe even if we had more than three parties, maybe like how Europe is, some countries have like a dozen or more parties, and they have coalition governments. Europe isn't experiencing like all this divide like we are with the lockdowns and COVID. The population's kind of just going with it. They're not really divided, and they also aren't suffering from coronavirus as much as us. They're doing way better. Their economy is doing better. Most of Europe, they don't have all this unrest.
Yeah, I think it depends where you're at. I mean, I think England is quite polarized, but like they're not.
Belarus is like maybe going to topple, but all the other countries are way more stable than America right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. But with the Brexit thing in England, that was quite divisive for them. I know, where you
Yeah,
generally have London being very anti-Brexit, and more or less, and then you have outside of London, Greater England being more or less pro-Brexit. And I know that was quite divisive for people. And when I was in London earlier this year, I was talking to some dudes whose apartment I stayed at, and they had grown up. They're from London, and they're saying it's if you're a single person, it is really hard to find an apartment that you can afford. like before, when they were younger, growing up, it was much easier to afford something in London, and part of that is the fact that it has become one of the financial capitals of the world, along with New York. So you get a lot of people all over the world who are, want stake in London, like they want a stake in New York. And because of that, you got all these, rich businessmen, banksters all over the place, not just from the US or England, that go to London buying property up. Of course, the Chinese are famous for that, trying to buy property up all over the world.
yeah.
And that's
Did
real estate way up. So for the people who are from there, it's made it very, very difficult. And I think that's why Brexit's appealing to them.
so changing the topic like completely. Did
Yeah.
you see the Portland mayor's condominium like apartment building almost burned down?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw they were right. They weren't at his lobby, but they were like right outside the building, right? Did you see a lot of that
Well,
video? I didn't see too much of it.
yeah, I think they made it inside the lobby and like stole some stuff from the office in there, and they did go in and like threw like um debris that was on fire inside the lobby.
Oh wow. Yeah, it seems
And
kind of
he he said today that he was moving, and he sent emails to everyone in the building. I guess there's 114 condos in there, and he sent an email to everyone apologizing and saying he's moving out of there. And the same thing also happened in San Jose, I believe, where Black Lives Matter protesters got to the mayor's house and like damaged it and did graffiti everywhere.
San Jose, California,
Yeah.
for the governor there. I forget his name. I remember what he looks like though.
Is it a governor or mayor?
Oh, the mayor. Yeah, that's right. You said the mayor. Yeah, Ted Wheeler, I know is Portland's. I don't
Yeah,
know
I mean
San
his.
Jose.
I think they're on the verge of anarchy there in Oregon, especially Portland. Seems like it to me.
Yeah, one of my favorite authors is Robert Greene. He's written 48 Laws of Power, and he made a video on his YouTube channel. He just made a YouTube channel this year, uh, and he's basically saying that anger towards our political leaders on both sides is very well justified because these people, lest us forget, have blood on their hands. When you look at not De Blasio, what's his name, Cuomo, doing the nursing home, order or recommendation, whatever that was. You got people
Yeah.
making memes calling him the butcher of New York. And I actually tweeted it at him in response, and they got like 30 or 40 likes because I was like, "Didn't you kill a bunch of old people there, Cuomo?" And a bunch
Well,
of people like.
he's regarded as handling the coronavirus the best in America.
Do you agree with that?
Well, you can't really agree with it because New York State has suffered worse than any other state, right? We've had the most deaths, right? I mean, we're still
So
in we're New York City's still in partial lockdown.
yeah, is that coming? That's coming from the mainstream media, then I'm sure, on the left side, saying that he's the best. Yeah, I
Well,
was.
yeah, that's not coming from Fox News, but yeah,
Do you
that's
trust Fox News?
no, but I really don't like Fox News, but sometimes I watch Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
I mean, Fox is kind of lame, but I do like Tucker Carlson sometimes. depends who's on it. I'll watch it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Fox is like the same thing as CNN, but it's just on the other side. People
Yeah.
they can't see that. Like CNN and MSNBC are on this side, and Fox is on this side, and they're the same thing, just different sides.
Yeah, I think out of Fox, Tucker Carlson is pretty much the only watchable person. I don't really watch Sean Hannity at all.
Oh,
But
I can't stand Hannity.
yeah, yeah, I don't really like him either. But even then, like Tucker Carlson is a bootlegger as far as I'm concerned when it comes to when it comes to the cops.
Yeah, well, everyone at Fox is.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, let us not forget people. I think I pretty sure I have some Republicans listening who are voting for Trump. They are also controlled by the CIA. They're mainstream media, right? And the CIA has infiltrated this mega complex of the media, the mega media, since the late 20th century.
Yeah.
So even if they are speaking more truth than MSNBC or CNN, which if CNN gets anything right, it's by accident.
Well, they
Charlie
cover
said
they
that to me.
cover they cover the hurricanes pretty good.
Yeah. Where are those happening again?
I'm not even sure, but
Because I
so
saw ridiculous
so
flooding in Ireland.
you think Fox News is better than CNN then?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm not saying
Really?
they're good, but I mean, oh yeah, if I had to choose, hell yeah, I would choose Fox because they, like, for example, stuff I have a decent amount of trust with Fox is when they cover the Flynn case, General Flynn. I think they're mostly telling the truth there. I mean, they're calling out the FBI, which is like you wouldn't necessarily think Fox would do that, but they do when it comes to General Flynn. And also just a lot of the corruption in the DNC. Obviously, they don't have to make a whole lot of that up, right? Because it is true. But stuff I don't trust them on, the police, they're just bootlickers, like I said.
Yeah.
And a lot of other stuff. I mean, I don't watch Tucker that often, but I do watch him sometimes. And I think he's the most truthful mainstream talking head today.
Wow.
Do you like Bill O'Reilly?
No, not at all. Bill O'Reilly, are you serious? Do you?
I don't. I've only seen him a few times. I do know that he has this tactic of ambushing his interviewees. So he'll invite someone on and then like act all really nice to them before the camera starts recording, and then once it starts recording, he just like acts like a total jerk and like.
Where is Bill O'Reilly on his own website or something?
I actually don't know what he's doing nowadays.
I thought he had been banished.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Do you remember why that was, Bill O'Reilly?
Sexual harassment claims.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
I think it was before the whole Me Too movement too.
Oh my goodness, it must have been really bad then if it was before Me Too.
Yeah,
I think
it was a lot of women.
Yeah.
Like
Speaking
Bill
of Me
Cosby
Too,
type level.
do you think that with Ghislaine Maxwell being locked up and this Epstein case still going on, that we're gonna see more people fall in Hollywood?
Oh yeah,
Fall
there's
to
gonna.
this.
The comedian Chris D'Elias, he's like in with the Joe Rogan podcast type crowd. He used to be on a TV show. He's in the news now, and they're saying he has like done a lot of bad things. So he's like the next person in the Me Too movement. It seems pretty.
I haven't read up on it too much, so I can't say whether it's true or not. But I think one thing to remember is there are witch hunts going on within the Me Too movement. So I think that's something people should remember. But for example, the one other comedian, white guy who's on with Joe Rogan, I can't remember his name, but nobody that I can see is really buying the accusations that have flown against him. I want to say it was early last week. Uh, and again, I'm excuse me, people, because I can't remember his name, but he often goes on with him, Joe Rogan, uh, Brendan Schaub, and Eddie Bravo. He's like the fourth guy. He always like shows up late for whatever reason. But to me,
Theo Von, are you talking about, or no?
is that no, not him. I know who you're talking about. But he doesn't seem to me like a predator or any of that. So I could kind of see Chris D'Elius maybe. But again, that's I don't have
it
any.
Seems probably
like say that.
It seems maybe true because it's a lot of different women, but I don't know. I wasn't there.
What about, but specifically with regards to Epstein, do you think we're going to see actors or producers come out involved?
Any more people in this case exposed?
Yeah.
We're like heading into fall and winter too. I don't know. Probably.
I drove some deer last night, and their coats are already darkening. So yes, fall is fast approaching, people.
I don't think so, but it's always possible.
Yeah, you think you would see them on the Black Book list, if we did. But I want to switch gears a little bit to Trudeau, if that's cool. One of the first things he did was remove all restrictions once he was elected prime minister. He removed all restrictions on Chinese investments in Canada. The Foreign Investment Protection Act was passed, which I think was initiated by the previous government. This allows China to station their own troops, their soldiers, on Canadian soil to protect their own investments. So I'm going to say that again. One of the first things that Trudeau did after elected prime minister was remove all restrictions on Chinese investments in Canada. The Foreign Investment Protection Act was passed, which was initiated by the previous government. This allows China to station their own troops on Canadian soil to protect their own investments. What do you think about that, Shrimp?
I mean, are there any Chinese soldiers in Canada doing this?
Not to my knowledge yet, but the fact is it's legal, right? Trump has given them permission, or not Trump, excuse me, Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, one of the most punchable faces in politics today, has allowed Chinese troops to be on their soil if they so desire. That, to me, sounds like explicit treason at the highest level.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen, though. I don't know. I don't think that would happen. I think the U.S. would probably be pretty pissed. I mean, maybe like Chinese like security contractors are like posted at some type of government building, but actual Chinese military like in combat uniforms and stuff, I don't think that will happen, but you never know. I think the US wouldn't be happy with it.
Did you see Pelosi at the hair salon?
Yeah. So they said that she was not wearing a mask only when she was getting her hair washed. That's maybe true, but have you ever seen Nancy Pelosi in a 3M mask? She just wears like Versace and Gucci scarves. She wears like designer scarves as face masks. She doesn't. I've never seen her in a real like medical grade face mask. If COVID is really serious, then the top leaders in the government should be wearing N95 or respirators or whatever.
I agree.
They should be taking it more serious, not wearing like a designer scarf. So she probably doesn't really take it that serious as much as she's letting on. It's probably mostly theatrics. there's really no way to prove if she was wearing the mask while getting the haircut, but I guess it was the haircut places were banned and you can only have one haircut at a time. It had to be outside, and she got it inside, so it was illegal. The
I read
mayor
that the salon was closed entirely.
was it the mayor of Chicago, I think, too, or the governor of Illinois. One of them got a haircut too, like a month ago when everyone was in lockdown. Yeah, the leaders on the left or right, they don't care about the rules because they don't apply to the powerful or the rich. Like Chris Cuomo, when he had coronavirus, he went to the Hamptons with his wife and his kids and stuff, and he bought a house in the Hamptons, and he wasn't really living in his basement the whole time. And his wife got COVID too. They were just pretending that he was in his basement because when he was supposed to be in his basement, he was on vacation in the Hamptons. So
Yeah, they had that whole. It was like almost like a TV series where it was like him and his brother talking like every single night, didn't it?
yeah, and it was all faked because like the police were called because he got in a fight with his neighbor or something. So it was all faked. And then like a few days later, they showed like his entrance from the basement to like the rest of the house. Yeah, that was all staged. So the elites don't really follow the rules that they make either. They're the lockdowns and stuff don't apply to them.
Yeah. Just thinking about the sheeple, man, and like how we get them to wake up. Like,
I mean, if
yeah, go
you're
ahead.
if you're a healthy young person, I don't think you really need to wear a mask. It's just if you want to wear a mask, I think you should wear one. Or if you're like, if you should probably wear one if you're old, maybe if you work in a retirement home, hospitals, you should wear them. Places like that. Maybe the police should wear them. Make the police wear masks.
Yeah, when you see him not wearing them, it's like, come on,
They
like
don't wear
don't.
them when they come to my house. They don't wear the mask.
The sheriff was though the Latino sheriff. Or
Yeah,
am I
he put it on. He put it on at like one point, but most of the time he wasn't. There was other cops at my house too, not wearing the mask.
Yeah,
I
this
don't.
is hypocrisy, man. It's like these are the supposed powers that be, and they're not even saying they're not even listening to their own rules.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if people wear a mask or not. I think that's a personal choice. That's just like a healthcare choice. And I don't like. I think it is maybe foolish for college kids to wear masks. They're very unlikely to die of COVID or get seriously sick.
What about children? Have you seen these pictures of children in like somebody
Yeah, I don't.
described it like a
I don't.
cage, like in
Yeah,
Scotland, I think it was, and in England too, they have to wear masks. The children
yeah, I
do.
don't. I don't think little kids should wear a mask. Like I went to UPS today, and there's like 5 and 6 year old kids playing on the ground wearing masks, but they're like crawling all around on the ground and stuff. And little kids are gross. So I mean, and their masks were falling off. I think it's probably more dangerous for little kids to wear masks because they could suffocate. They're not getting fresh oxygen. They're still growing and stuff. We don't really have studies and stuff to show what happens if little kids wear masks.
Well, not to mention they're pretty much invulnerable to this particular virus for one reason or another, with rare
Yeah,
exception.
except for like the when they get the Kawasaki like symptoms.
Yeah, with like you talking about the leg rashes.
Yeah, and like weird autoimmune responses and swelling and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree. Young people seem to be like overall immune or not affected overall, pretty
Yeah,
similar to the regular flu or even less. It just seems to be people who have pre-existing conditions and old people.
and fat people.
Yeah, and maybe smokers. We're not really sure yet.
Yo,
But
Carol, Miss Carol Dotson, where did you see that? If I can ask, what art? Where did you see that particular article? How's it going, Harley, Karen? Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Got people from New Zealand, England, and the United States tuning in right now. Big shout out to everybody for tuning
yeah,
in.
my sister works for one of the vaccine companies. I had to delete one of the videos because I was talking about it. But she's saying she thinks it will be mandatory. I
Really?
I saw I saw Fauci say that it won't be mandatory, but
Fauci, the guy who has patents on the glycoproteins, which are.
But yeah, Fauci also said that masks don't work, not to use them. But now it's law; you have to wear a mask, and they said they wouldn't.
But before
They
at the beginning of this pandemic, I was very much for masks, but that was when I was a lot more. I had more fear, and I also didn't understand the virus as well as I do now. Not to mention the virus it attenuates, as we spoke about before.
I think it's less lethal now.
Powerful. Yeah, exactly.
Like what, and we can treat it better too. Like we know to roll people on their stomachs or their sides and stuff. We have different medicines that work a little bit better, and we know which ones don't. So the death rate has dropped a lot, and the virus has mutated. I think it's probably mutated to be less deadly. I mean, some people have said that in Italy. They've said that, so it could mutate back the other way too. The death rate was initially much higher though than it is now. It appears to be pretty low right now.
Yeah, and we also know that hydroxychloroquine works not only as a prophylactic but a therapeutic as well if used early enough within the disease's progression. Which
you believe in that? I'm not sure what to. I'm not sure what to think about it because it's been like really politicized. I see articles supporting it, and then other articles saying it's not. I'm not sure what to think about it, but I haven't looked into it recently.
I mean, we got the 2005 NIH study, which says that it works for SARS-like viruses. And not only that, we have doctor testimonies, not Fauci, doctors who are actually on the front lines saying that it works, and it has worked for not only young patients, but old folks as well, too. And that's why you had Dr. Stella Emanuel in that White Coat Summit in Houston, among those other doctors, basically calling out Dr. Fauci and these whoever's getting in the way of the doctor-patient relationship as far as prescriptions go, and trying to make HCl available to people. I actually called my governor, Tony Evers, requesting that HCl be made available over the counter.
Interesting. I think it can be deadly though, can it? Especially long term. It can be dangerous for you.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I've read.
In the the correct dosage, as with any medicine, right? You don't want to take too much. You don't want to take not enough either. But it works well as a prophylactic for those nurses and doctors who are on the front lines.
I bet it would get sold. It gets sold out immediately. That'd be pretty cool, I guess, as long as it's safe to use. I haven't looked into it really, but
yeah, I mean, it costs pennies, shrimp. It really does. It costs. It's very cheap. I mean, it's been around for years, since the 20th century, akin to like a quinine against malaria, right, in the Pacific. Quinine was used by the soldiers fighting the Pacific to fight malaria, and they actually that was one of the biggest killers of soldiers during World War II in the Pacific theater was malaria. So and I think that's the reason they don't want people to get access to HCl, is because they can't make a fraction of the money they can make off of a supposed vaccine that we don't actually need. For because I think we are nearing herd immunity, and I heard Dr. Cottrell talking about this too. Where
you think so? Herd immunity?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this isn't Ebola. This isn't smallpox. This isn't MERS, which is very deadly, Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, which is another virus that is
that's like 40% deadly.
Yeah, it comes from camels, I believe.
Yeah, camels, maybe bats too.
Yeah, I think they think bats gave it to camels, right?
Because I'm pretty sure they found MERS in bat caves in China.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been in South Korea before.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
also, I really have no idea about herd immunity. I don't think it matters overall, though, because you can get COVID twice. You're going to be able to get it every winter, or every fall, or every summer, whatever. It seems like there's a lot of people that have got it twice, and the immunity does not last long term. With the original SARS, there was only immunity for like 1 or 2 years.
True,
And
but I
there's
mean, you don't have eternal immunity from the yearly flu either, which I think this is what it's turning into. It's just another.
yeah. I'd rather have the flu than COVID, though.
Maybe,
Right?
yeah.
Maybe. Would you choose COVID over the regular flu?
I mean, it depends on the flu. I mean,
I'll
what
choose
kind
asymptomatic COVID over the regular flu. Like a swine flu or something. Maybe I would choose COVID.
yeah. Because I've had some killer flus before. Not literally killer, but flus that knock you out for like 4 or 5 days. Which
Yeah.
I don't know if
My
coronavirus do that to me
my
necessarily.
my whole opinion on the regular flu has changed too, though. Like I don't want to
What's
get
that? What's in?
I don't want to get the regular flu now either. Just made me more like paranoid about getting regular flu too.
How has your opinion changed on the regular flu shrimp?
I just view it as more serious, I guess now.
Yeah.
I think now I view COVID as less serious and the flu is more serious. Just bring attention to me that the flu actually does kill people. I don't want to
Yeah.
get the flu at the same time as COVID.
Yeah.
I think that's like the real problem for the fall.
What would you do if that happened, Shrimp? If you knew you
I'm
got both at the same time?
Oh man, somebody like me might die because I have asthma and
Oh,
I
you
have
do?
a yeah, I have an autoimmune disease that makes me allergic to a lot of foods, and I have asthma. That's the reason I take COVID more serious than other people. Why I wear a mask. I just wear the mask online though, just for fun. But
Hmm.
I met up with somebody today, a stranger, selling something on Craigslist. I didn't wear a mask though, so sometimes I don't even wear a mask anymore. Just depends. I'm
Yeah.
taking COVID less serious because I'm not going to use hand sanitizer every day the rest of my life and like use crazy amounts of Lysol and I'm not wiping mail or groceries down. I'm trying not to use hand sanitizer anymore because I think that's probably worse for you than COVID in the long run. Alcohol constantly being absorbed into your skin forever. I think you should just use it like if you're at the gas station, you can't wash your hands. So I'm still using hand sanitizer, but like way less. Only when I can't wash my hands. I'm not washing my hands as much anymore. I still take it serious, but it's like I'm not going to go my whole life without getting COVID. It's like trying to go the rest of my life without getting the flu. Probably not going to happen.
Hmm.
That's not. It's not realistic, really.
I'm interested to see how things are going to shape out when it gets really cold this winter, and you know, if all of these precautions that people are taking with washing hands, hand sanitizer, masks, etc., how will that affect the West and the United States? Not just with COVID, but with the regular yearly flu waves that we do get. Because it does get, obviously people get more sick during the winter.
Yeah, I think it will be a really bad fall, like the worst fall since the Spanish flu. They say we have about close to 200,000 deaths right now. I know a lot of people think that number's not accurate though, but that's what they say. Close
I
to
just
200,000.
worked with somebody whose uncle died from COVID. So that's actually the first time I think so far that I've met somebody who's died from who knows somebody. So like where I'm like one connection away uh, that has died from COVID. I think this whole
Yeah.
year I don't think I've met
My
anyone.
sister knows somebody that died of it, but
Yeah.
I met them once, but I don't
What was their
really
demographic?
know them.
they old person or? Did you hear me, Shrimp? What was their demographic? Shoot.
Somebody's asking if we have to pay medical expenses if you get COVID in the U.S.
Yeah, what do you say to that, Shrimp?
You generally don't, but some cases you might have if you have like some type of private insurance.
One last question.
Addy is off the
Shrimp.
channel, but this has been about an hour long. We're gonna have to
Yeah.
work on that connection. Definitely hit the.
Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, I'm gonna finish up where Shrimp left off. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm gonna get an Ethernet cable. I think that was the problem. I'm not really sure. We may be being monitored. I'm not entirely sure about that either. But we're about an hour here. Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Drop here on Wednesday, the 2nd of September, 2020. Less than 70 days until the election. And fall's coming, people. As I said, I drove past some deer yesterday, and their coats have gotten darker already. So fall is coming. Thanks for tuning in. Stay frosty, and until next time, folks.